Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank you and Senator Murkowski for having this hearing. And Administrator, it's great to see you here. Thank you for being here. Now, you may find, and I'm sure this will not be totally surprising to you, that in hearings before the Appropriations Committee, sometimes some of the questions may seem a tiny bit parochial. And I just wanted to alert you to that had you not been aware. I do like President Biden's budget with his commitments on climate change, environmental protection, justice, community, resilience, and they're not empty gestures. They're a cornerstone of this administration. And the budget proposal is a statement of values that will, I think, help prepare the agency. I've been concerned about some of the dismantling attacks that subverted science, threatened our basic environmental laws. And in our state, Republicans and Democrats are agreed we want to protect the environment. So I'm pleased that the request includes funding for EPA's geographic programs, including $20 million for Lake Champlain. The funding for Lake Champlain, which the previous administration repeatedly sought to eliminate, is fundamental to your mission. The dollars leverage a broad network of stakeholders, experts, funding stream to support our goal of a drinkable, swimmable, fishable lake. It is, outside of the 5 Great Lakes, it's the largest body of fresh water in our country. We're doing a lot to reduce runoff, combat invasive species. So my question is, in what ways do EPA's different geographic programs, like those for Lake Champlain and the Great Lakes, benefit one another, and why is it important to continue these programs?
Well, thank you for that question and the acknowledgement. We all acknowledge that these are national treasures. Lake Champlain, our bays, our Pecosins. This is really important, and I think the president's budget reflects that priority. $36 million increase over last year's budget to focus on the protection of these water bodies. It's critical that we, number one, partner with our states to protect these national treasures for a couple of reasons. The first, because we want to preserve the ecological vitality and what they mean to us all culturally. But from an economic standpoint, significant revenue driver for our local communities as well. And what you'll see in the president's budget is not only resources dedicated to the geographical programs, as I've mentioned, but in the infrastructure resources in general, you'll see that we're going to focus on both hardened infrastructure that is resilient to climate change, but we're also focused on natural infrastructure that will help to protect and preserve our national treasures as well.
You're going to have more work than you can possibly handle, but if you want a chance to see what this looks like, you have an open invitation from me, and I'll come with you and show you what I think is a very attractive area. Has New York on one side, us on the other, and Canada to the north. So you have an open invitation to join me there at any time. And last September, just as people are getting ready to return to in-person learning, students at Burlington High School, and Burlington's our largest city, very small by other state standards, large by Vermont's, they're forced to relocate to a temporary site, actually a former Macy's department store, because testing had found levels of PCBs in the school that exceeded the state threshold. In the case of one building, the EPA minimum standards. And it's so pervasive, the building is going to be torn down, and they're going to have to build one on another site. Of course, these PCBs were used a lot in school construction through the 60s and 70s. So I suspect you're going to see this all over the country, the problem, and I appreciate your setting out standards. So my one question is this: the threat to the health of the students at Burlington High School, and a son of mine graduated from there, it was discovered only by chance as the school prepared for new renovations. Many more schools were built in my state of Vermont and every state represented around here before EPA banned PCBs in '79. What proactive steps can EPA take to ensure the full scope of this risk is understood and dealt with?
You know, I think that's a great question, and part of it really flows to the core of this budget, which is ensuring that the states have the resources and that we have the resources to have the proper partnership. As we evaluate the toxicity level of many of these chemicals, past and present, that we care so much about, it really does boil down to EPA's ability to provide technical assistance and partnership with the states. And so as we see states all across the country struggling with PCB, asbestos, and the like, we're looking at the risk evaluation of these pervasive chemicals and the partnership opportunities with how the states can take the lead with the federal backing to address some of these issues that are more localized.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.